Welcome back to TMZ Live, and Mary Kate Olsen still in limbo on her divorce that we told you she wanted to file in New York, and she still can't file it because in New York, they're not accepting divorce filings right now because of quarantine. So
in some cities and states, they are, but there are all sorts of struggles right now when relationships fall apart, especially during this quarantine. Because of what's going on with the court, but also what's going on with the employment of people around the country that would cause people to want to go back into family court.
And not to mention the fact that, listen, you're in quarantine with someone. If things aren't going well, it's sort of a pressure cooker, and it creates more challenges. So
let's bring in one of the best divorce lawyers in the country. She represents God. I mean, when celebrities are getting divorced or, people have choices, they choose Laura Wasser because she is best in the business, and she's joining us again right now. Laura, welcome again to TMZ Live.
Hi, guys.
So what are the struggles here? What are the common struggles that people are having when they want to end relationships during this?
I think one of the common issues that we're finding is the inability to get judicial relief. We don't have judges, we don't have courthouses that we can go to. And so when conflict reaches a head, there is no actually arbiter of making a decision. And that's really, really difficult. The flip side of that is people are being forced to actually communicate with each other, negotiate with each other, mediate, and hopefully come up with resolutions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can still go to a mediator, to an attorney like yourself, and you can say this is what should be done. But if the court's not telling them, are they still going to do it?
To a certain extent, they still are going to do it because they do know that there's a day of reckoning coming. I mean, in California, we are allowed to file things. We just don't get court dates until later in the summer. So at some point, somebody's going to hear this and resolve it. The other thing is people are using private judges. You can hire them. They are working. They're doing things by Zoom. Some of our courthouses in California are doing hearings by WebEx. The judicial system is really, really trying to figure out a way to get back in the groove so that there's not going to be such a glut. There already was a glut before this started, so that there's not such a glut when things open back up again. And again, there's online services that people can use, like It's Over Easy Online Divorce. So if you really are able to get through this conflict and work it out on your own, then you can get the paperwork submitted and done so that when we come out of this, it gets stamped, filed, and you're divorced.
Laura, I would assume that money has become a huge issue with more than 30 million people unemployed and others who are not unemployed still struggling. I would think that when it comes to spousal support, when it comes to child support, there must be a lot of activity with people trying to reduce it because they're saying they don't have enough money, which then puts the other parent and the kids in some risk.
Absolutely. I mean, that is, everybody makes the joke about the divorce attorneys are going to have so much business when it's over. More of our calls that we are getting at the firm are from past clients who have already done their divorce and worked out their child custody, child support, and spousal support orders. And as to the economic question, saying, what am I supposed to do? I can't possibly pay this level of support. I'm not getting paid anymore. And again, there's nowhere to go for that relief at this moment for a judge to say, okay, I'm going to make an order reducing your support. They can file it in California. It'll get heard at some point. But what we're recommending is people reach out and talk to each other and say, listen, these are difficult times. Work with me on this. Our kids are our most important, issue here. Can we figure out a way to get through this until I can get back on my feet?
Yeah. What about, Laura, for people, even if they're not married, but they have kids together, how are the custody issues working out? Because at the beginning of all this 2 months ago, we were saying that this is a challenge for some, parents, you're co-parenting, but you don't want the kids overexposed to too many different people. Are you dealing with any issues like that?
Oh, yeah. Most courts have recommended, and task forces around the country have recommended, that we stick with the custody orders to the extent possible. It's better for kids to have that level of consistency. But if the parents live too far away, to kind of facilitate many, many transitions, we're lengthening the time and making less transitions. Most important, if you have kids, you guys have to communicate. A judge once said to me, you have to love your kid more than you hate your ex. And it's really true. If you love your kid, you're going to figure out a way to make your kid feel healthy and safe, both emotionally and physically.
We're about out of time. Just real quick, when you take the kid out of the equation, and you have seen all of these issues coming up, with COVID, where couples are together more than they ever have been in the past, how strongly do you believe the adage "familiarity breeds contempt" is true?
And absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes.
I think it's absolutely true, but I've said to more than one client throughout this process, this pandemic is not happening to you only. And I think it's really true. I think you really have to think about the fact that everybody's in this together. We're watching other countries that had started before we did come out of it. If familiarity breeds contempt, see if there's a way that you can work through that and turn it around, because this will end. We are in it together. Figure it out.
So if you need some immediate help on it, though, Laura's got a couple of things going, many things going, but It's Over Easy, which is her online divorce, which is great. I mean, again, it's sad if this happens to anybody, but especially in economically challenged times, it's a great service. And also the All's Fair podcast, which Laura hosts, which is great, which you can
On
get
iHeart.
on iHeart. Laura, thanks.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Laura.